Well, a very good morning to you this beautiful morning. And yes, it's an interesting time to come straight to your screen. It's a beautiful morning. And yes, of course, Voice of the People TV, Edo decides, Edo goes to the polls. And that is the major talking point across Nigeria today. And right here on Voice of the People TV, we definitely will be giving you live updates all the way from most of the polling units in Edo State. We hear presently that accreditation across board have been completed, and of course it is relatively peaceful right now, but we have some footages. We'll definitely be fitting you in on all of that. But today, I'm not alone. The rest of the team is here, and it's a full house already. Jerry, a very good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, viewers, and good morning, everybody. And of course, the election is already heating up in Edo State, and those in Benin will say Obaga Tokwe, and you will say and of course for the Esan people it's more like Esa Oye, and from my side talking about the Afema to say Afema Neha. Of course those who understand the Edo language will definitely get
that. The very reason why I had to come to
and of course I expect everybody in the studio to say Obaga Tokwe.
Yes, sir.
All right, and of course, it's all about the Edo election, and of course, 3 new candidates. Of course, a new man is going to be occupying the Osita Osadebe house, talking about the headquarters of the government house in Benin City, where Obaseki's tenure will be wrapping up. Of course, by November, there will be a handover. So we're looking forward to who is going to be that man that will take over from Obaseki.
Interesting time. Well, of course, when you saw that wild shot, you saw everybody. Chukuma, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, David, and good morning, Nigerians. Well, Jerry, if you want to convert us to it will not be on this studio.
So you have to bring it down to Edo.
No, you have to come back and bribe us if you want us to become Edo like that.
It is a beautiful
when you say Oba Etokbai, we can say what we are supposed to say. I will not say it now. What we are supposed to say. Well, that said, it is a good thing that Edo people are deciding today who becomes their governor after the tenure of the current governor, GODWIN, Obaseki. There are 17 political parties and candidates, running this election, but it seems to be a 3-horse race between the APC, the PDP, and the Labour Party. Oh, well. So we'll also find out why it is a 3-horse race, considering that 17 candidates, filed to contest this election.
Right.
It's a good thing, and we also know what has happened within the past 1 month, 3 weeks, where there have been allegations of muckraking, doxing, mudslinging, between the 3 major political parties, and recent media shenanigans with each of the 3 political parties trying to outdo the other and all of that. So just stay tuned with us. Let's see how we can help Nigerians make sense of what's going on in Edo State.
Right. And, well, we have with us this beautiful morning Barrister Darlington Agumo, who is, yes, a practicing barrister and, of course, a political analyst. Barrister, a very good morning to you, Barrister.
Good morning, David and the rest of the crew.
Well, it's an interesting journey. Chukuma did allude to the fact that presently it's a 3-horse race. Just yesterday, Kennedy Yere withdrew. Kennedy Yere of the Accord Party withdrew from the race. And one will wonder, why did he make that decision eve to the election? I don't know if, Barrister, you can help us with some insight there.
Yeah, it's not the only one who actually.
Oh, yeah, quite a number of them.
The Action Alliance candidate talking about Tom Isego, he also withdrew from the election. And of course, Barrister, maybe as a political juggernaut, you understand why.
Yes, I think the issue here is all about your capacity and capability. I'm sure the candidate they have weighed their options, and they know that they don't have the capacity to finance agents in all the polling units, because that's very germane, very important. If you cannot maintain agents at the polling unit, then what are you contesting and voting?
Hey, well, but Barrister, another thing that comes to mind at this point is the part of independent candidacy. at this point it's going to become an issue if you cannot fund your agents. Because if I want to vie for a political post and I do not have the financial strength to possibly fund agents who are going to be at the polling unit, then it's almost impossible for me to make that stride. Why is it becoming so tedious?
No, you see, I would have even preferred that we give it a shot. Let there be independent candidacy. Maybe when we get to the bridge, we now think of how to cross it, just like the Israelites. Because God will make a way. What I'm not saying is that as it is today, for reasons best known to the electoral umpires, such thing is not in the electoral book or even the government, because they have seen the enormous resources that is to be deployed, especially when you get to presidential level.
Right.
But an independent candidate may finance his way if it is within a state. It's possible. There are some billionaires who can, make an impact in their different states if they want to go independent. But let us give it a shot, because I know that in other climes where this democracy came from, there are things like that. So these other guys that I think there are 5 of them, they withdrew and then move over to APC or so. Yeah, APC, 5 of them. And they did it at the last minute. But I don't see any impact.
Oh, well,
I don't see any impact.
Their court party candidate, Kennedy Yere, did withdraw based on the fact that he said he wants to serve the nation better. In fact, he did say that it's going to be a bit of restriction for him to serve in the capacity of the governor. Well, that, of course, he also did allude to the fact that the present governor, GODWIN OBASEKI, did make a statement that Edo State election is a do-or-die affair. So to him, he does not have the capacity to push forward. At this point, it's becoming some very interesting times in Edo State.
Now, David, you see, APC leadership, they made a very big mistake from the beginning concerning this election.
How do you mean?
They have given the IGP enormous powers. The power he's wielding in Edo State, I don't even think whether the president has that power. Because first, he came into Edo State, and the first thing he did was to suspend the vigilante people that are, providing security for Edo people. And this was a vigilante group established by the State Assembly, which is by law authentic. He suspended them by fiat. He did not consult with any of the people. He did not consult with the governor. He just that they are suspended. That is not how to man an election. You would have even co-opted them, because you are talking of Edo. The vigilante is not for APC, Labour Party or PDP. It's for Edo people. Why would you now suspend them on what ground? That is acting ultra-virus against the law. You are acting above your powers. You don't have the, because this is an institution established by the State Assembly by law. How can you single-handedly now suspend them? It's an insult to Edo people.
All right.
Then when you suspended, it's as if the people you are bringing are not going to be partisan. That means you don't want them to man all the areas where there is susceptibility of fraud and all that. You want your own people to take charge of Edo for how many days? Just today.
Yes, Barrister, talking about the IGP and the role the police is playing, you also understand that the police drafted 35,000 policemen to Edo State. That is excluding 8,000 soldiers, members of the NSDC, so that is the civil defense, and DSS, all of them in Edo State. Does it show that the federal government is very much interested in what is going on or what comes out of the Edo election? Considering the fact also that there was a statement released by Muyiwa Adejobi, the first public relations spokesperson, about certain two armed men who were caught, and he was the one to put out the statement. Why did it have to come from the first spokesperson instead of the state PPRO. Does it show that the federal government is overly interested in the outcome of the Edo election?
Of course, they want to validate what their chairman said, the Ganduje. He said that they are going to capture. They want to capture Edo State as if it is a war situation. These are some of the mistakes they have made, and they have been making these mistakes over the years.
So don't you think that's just a statement that is not laced with any intent?
No, that's not the right word to use. Every institution, every what's it called? Every election, every political procedure have their own language. When you hear capture, you begin to think of war. That's what I'm telling you here. Even why can't they say we are going to win Edo? That was not there.
Would that also
when
translate?
You hear win, you know that the election is going on.
Would that also translate to the fact that that statement made the present, when it's a do or die affair?
Of course. You have, yes, who drew the first blood? Yes. OBASEKI is telling you that there should be free and fair election. That if you want to rig, they will not accept it. And I concur with him, because whenever APC is involved in the election, they always bring this violent disposition, which does not augur well. Every of the election is always violent.
Oh, well, you see there on the screen, we have footages there of accreditation taking place in Edo State presently in the election.
Yeah, and of course, voting has already started in most of the polling units.
Oh, yes, accreditation was done earlier before now.
And we must note that we have about 2 million registered voters, over 2 million registered voters. And the major local government area where we have a lot of registered voters is Ikpoba, Oka, which is in Benin, which is a major polling unit, and over 400,000 registered voters will be in that region. And talking about the security situation, like our guy here just pointed out that some people were arrested for carrying weapons, and they were actually wearing shirts of Aso Ighodalo. And though some people have said that it's actually APC guys. So it's now the word of the APC versus the PDP guys as regards that one. Of course, we also saw another local government where some people were seen with pump action, and they were caught. And somebody in that video was shouting that these are APC guys. And of course, they're not wearing APC on their head. They could also be PDP, as the case may be. And of course, the soldiers are showing that they're not there for partisanship. So far, so good. And it's business as usual, making sure there's security. And let's also point out the fact that the man who is in charge of the police guys in Edo State, Frank Oba, was formerly in Lagos State.
Oh, yeah.
And he's currently an assistant inspector general of police. And he made a statement. He said that when you cast your vote, you should go home. And of course, one popular musician talking about Davido has come online to say that nobody should go anywhere, go where. You should mount the polling unit and wait for your votes to be counted. Vote. But he also emphasized yesterday that those who does not have voters' cards should not be seen on the streets. And for instance, we've seen people buying votes who have also been caught in Ego, local government area, trying to buy votes. And of course, we see the EFCC officials arresting them in that aspect. Talking about the security situation, we want the Edo people to feel safe when going out to vote. And they should feel that their vote will count. Let's also look at the issue of the cousin of Wike, who is part of the wreck, talking about in Edo State.
That's going to be.
We'll come to that. Let us exhaust the issue of security.
Okay, security. Okay.
You discover that Edo has been tensed politically in the past 3 weeks or so, with arrest and counter arrest between one political party, and APC and PDP have been trading blames. Oh, you are the ones behind this arrest, and you are the ones behind this arrest. So don't you think that it is that intensity, that intense situation that made the IGP to deploy, 35,000 in an off-cycle election, if you ask me, is massive. Considering that this is an election that shouldn't exceed like 4 or 5 hours, at most 6 hours. But so how will Mba say that if you cast your vote, you go home?
Yeah, maybe they're just trying to manage the security situation. What do you think?
Manage it how?
But Barrister, what's your opinion of this? Because right now, it's a statement that is laced with so much concerns. And as it stands, voters after voting are supposed to count their vote as well.
Now,
to see their
I
vote.
was thinking that by now the police would have learned their lesson. Because a situation whereby the military will be doing their job is an embarrassment on its own. All these things that the military always come up for to do during election is the work of the police. But because the police are so corrupt, I mean heavily corrupt, that is why nobody trusts them. If not, why should the army be involved? Like these people they arrested now, it was the army. One was even shouting that the police is with them and all that. So why is it that the police are always used during the election? And they didn't see anything wrong in that. That is not how it's supposed to be. That is why the police are nobody respects them again. Because they do this in openly as if they're a member of a political party.
Now, Barrister, you would get to continue your thoughts. If our producers are ready, let's have that video of those individuals that were caught by security operatives. And of course, we will get back to it. If our producers are ready with this one, let's have it just about now. All right, that's the video you're seeing on your screen.
No
Is it this one or the other one?
This is
Security
not
are intact.
this is not ego local government. These are people who are actually getting accredited, I beg your pardon, and preparing to vote in the local government area. Of course, you can see the security operatives are there, and my concerned citizens are trying to cast their votes. And according to observers, talking about the YAGA, for instance, who are observers from Africa, they said that at 7:30 a.m., only 41% of polling units were already having Inec officials on ground. It had to take a while for Aswe Godalo's polling units in Ewohimi to get the Inec officials. Talking about the movement of sensitive materials in Nigeria, we've not been able to get it right when it comes to 100% having Inec on ground as at when due, so that voters can get accredited on time, vote on time. You know, why are we finding it difficult, Barrister?
No, it is very simple. It is because the electoral umpires, they have not learned any lesson. Because I was thinking that by now, with the past experience, these people would have upped their game by now. But you discover that each election, this Inec chairman will drop the ball. And at the end of the day, he will give you 1,001 reasons. 1,001 reasons that are not even tenable. I don't expect any hitch in this election, considering what happened last year. INEC should be trying by now to reinvent itself, to amend its ways, to even use this election to apologize to Nigerians. If at the end of the day this election was never credible or decent, it will be a shame on INEC chairman. Nobody will believe him again. Nobody, because this is just one state.
Barrister,
with all the logistics, and they do not a riverine area to say we couldn't access the whatever.
Because Barrister, as at now, there are reports coming in from Edo State where a particular polling unit, people have refused to vote because there's no result sheet,
which is very vital.
And you also recall that last year we saw policemen in this particular Edo State during the presidential election destroying ballot boxes and ballot papers. Exactly. So what actually should be the role of the police in conducting elections in Nigeria?
It is very simple. They are to maintain peace. They are to maintain peace and order in every part of that state where they are conducting election. That is the job of the police.
And up to this moment, we didn't hear that the policemen who were involved in this act were arrested, prosecuted, and that justice was served.
That is why this other one have come to play the same role. Because there are no consequences for bad behavior in Nigeria. More so to a security agent who's supposed to be neutral, because the people you are trying to shortchange are Nigerians also. It's not as if they are foreigner, you are protecting your own country against a foreign country. No. They are Nigerians, they are Edo people. So whatever action you take there will impact on Edo. That is the issue here.
We have also seen, like Jerry said, the EFCC is around in Edo State. No, not just waiting. We understand that some people have been arrested, right, for vote buying. You know, and you know
somewhere around what 7 local government areas.
So these people have been arrested. And you understand too that the Electoral Act is very clear on vote buying. It attracts a certain level of penalty.
In fact, there is one important aspect of that Electoral which they are not even trying to implement. It is said that whenever there is any problem, any confusion, rioting, or violence in any polling area, the people that cause that violence, the party they are representing, their man there will be. The election will be cancelled. You understand what I'm saying? That if, like these people are shouting, it is APC, APC. Whatever problem those people cause, in that the candidate, his own will be cancelled. His own vote will be cancelled because he used those people to obtain those votes. That is the. But who is looking at that? Who is looking at that?
But that would also mean some high levels investigation.
It is obvious because that's why you are there as a police officer. That's why you are there to be sure that what they are saying is so that you can testify in court.
All right, Barrister Dellins, as a lawyer, we would like you to help us make sense of the fact that in the same Electoral Act, giving out gifts like palliatives during campaigns and all of those things can be interpreted as vote buying.
Yes.
So in every situation, we see people, you know, we see candidates go to campaigns with loads of money, food items, and all of that. So, is it really right to say, as a campaigner, as a candidate of a party, you cannot give out gifts to people prior to election, like 2 or 3 weeks ahead of election?
The moment electioneering has stopped, electioneering campaign has stopped, any other gift or whatever you do.
No, I'm saying during campaign.
That's what I'm saying. No, during campaign. You can do whatever. It's campaign period. You can you can do whatever.
So after that time.
But immediately the campaign period is over. Whatever you do now will be counted against, which is against the electoral law.
So that will be termed as vote buying.
Yes.
All right.
You can woo people. You can do whatever during your campaign proper. You can do whatever. But immediately the campaigns are over, you are not expected to go and coerce anybody, induce anybody, or force anybody to vote for it. In fact, you are supposed to go to jail for it. But here, who has gone to jail for it? Who? All these people they are arrested now. After today's election, by next week, all of them will let off the hook.
All right.
Let's just look at logistics. Like I rightly pointed out, I said about materials arriving late, most especially to the Aswe Godalo's campaign. Talking about a polling unit. And Aswe has just said in an interview just some minutes ago after casting his vote, saying that more time should be given to such polling units where,
of course,
we go into the assessment of GODWIN or OBASEKI. Let us first of all profile the candidacy.
Okay.
It would be more appropriate to profile the candidacy of the three candidates, the three major candidates.
But before let's let our viewers know that most of the candidates, particularly Aswe Godalo, like he mentioned earlier, has casted his vote in his ward. We also understand that Monday Okpebolo has also casted his vote at the Esa Central Local Government. Of course, the polling unit 001 or Wesa 1 is where he did cast his vote. All of this footage will definitely be rolling as we have this conversation. And of course, we know for a fact that yes, that particular footage you're seeing or picture you're seeing is another individual that was caught with, of course,
arms.
Serious arms. Yes, and that's the video. He's presently wearing the PDP shirt. I kind of wonder how much he would have been induced with to making his people not vote right. This is one of the questions that we've been asking. But then again, let's get to the profiling you were trying to get at some few minutes ago.
Before we get to that level, do you think that the PDP will arm somebody
and put down
and give the person their T-shirt?
I wonder.
with
I
arms.
wonder. We cannot be deceived, though.
You understand? I'm not saying. I'm just
So barrister, as it stands, it's looking more like this was a planned action by any opposition party.
It's a decoy. They want to divert your attention. No, if ordinarily, it's like a thief who is going to rob. You now put your address on your clothes. What does that tell you? It's not possible.
It speaks to the level of muckraking that is going on in Edo. Not just in Edo politics, in Nigerian politics.
They are not even wise. So that whatever happens, if the man is caught, they say it's a PDP man.
Considering the fact that the PDP declined to sign the peace deal.
Exactly. So that is if the other parties, if they actually made peace in that election, all of them should have complied. But what's his name? OBASEKI has a point. He has a point. You brought in somebody who is actually a partisan fellow as your rec. The man is sensing trouble already because we know what these recs do when it comes to election. Remember that in 2015, it was the rec in Kano that gave Buhari the votes, that gave him the winning votes. The rec in Kano. The man said, look, the police commissioner in Kano.
Right.
Yes. The rec in Kano had a different figure of the votes, which he wanted to go and deliver to the center. But the police commissioner had a different figure, which is higher than what this other man has. And that figure the rec had is for PDP. But this particular commissioner of police, Idris, because the man insisted on going to deliver that particular vote. My brothers, he was born in his house. He was born with his family. And while the house was burning, they surrounded it and we are dancing and singing. For election. That was where Buhari got the highest votes. Right. And at the end of the day, that man was made the IGP.
Okay.
And 15 senior officers were sacrificed.
All right, let's put
this. So that is what happens during this election. And every police officer, they'll be doing everything to please the master. So that they'll say, yes, you have done a good job. Is that how it's supposed to be?
Oh, well, we'll keep our eyes on all of this. Let's also let our viewers know this beautiful morning that relatively large turnout of voters are being recorded at polling units, which, of course, is what some of our correspondents are telling us right now in Edo State. We understand that somewhere around Unit 12 and Unit 4 will award 8, a Sako East local government area. Of course, in the ongoing election, there have been a major large turnout, and we also have to let this out to the public. But then, a lot of persons have come out to say that the statement of Frank Mba is a very, very huge one of concern, telling voters after you finish casting your vote, go back to your house.
There are some laws. There are some laws you know that nobody will obey. You just put it there. You know that nobody will obey that law. You know. You just said it to say maybe somebody will not, okay, he made a statement. Well, to what effect? How can you tell people to leave after voting so that the people there will not do what? No. In Nigeria of today, you have to protect your vote until those votes are casted, counted, and then written in the result sheet. Don't leave that polling unit. Don't leave it.
All right.
If they leave it, who will not take charge? Who?
Barrister, let me ask you this. With a crystal ball, can you help us, or can you help tell us where the votes will swing in this election?
Now, thank God you have brought that issue. You see, in Nigeria of today, did you see that people, tactically, people are now voting individual, not party? Have you noticed that? Tactically now, people's mindset are now about, it happened with P2B and Labour Party. Remember, P2B made an impact on his person, on his integrity. Not because of Labour Party, because Labour Party had been there long before he even joined them. But the moment P2B showed up, people started voting that party because of P2B, because of the integrity he carries with him. So in this particular election, look at it yourself. among the candidates, remember one of them didn't come for debate, oh, that of APC, Obabelo. When their primary started, they did their first primary, and somebody that the people wanted, people that they actually qualified to, be a candidate, they disqualified him. But he won the election, the primary election. He won. They now said that they should go and do it again. It was that doing it again that they now brought this person that Oshomole is teleguiding all over the place, telling him what to say and what not to say. Is that a candidate that can lead a state? So are you telling me that in all sincerity, people will now vote for such a person as their governor? You know the result. He will be teleguided from Abuja or even from Oshomole's senatorial House of Senate.
So, Barrister, who do you think will win this election? And what are the reasons?
Good. It looks like Agbatabi.
Yeah.
He's the Labour Party man, yes. He has the pedigree. He was a former NBA chairman.
Are you talking on the side because you're a barrister, you want to support your fellow colleague, talking about Olumide? But I know him very well.
No, we are talking about
when he was the NBA chairman in Lagos.
We're going to talk about Akpata just pretty soon. Sorry to hold you on that.
No
we do understand now that EFCC have nabbed 2 men and 1 woman, who, of course, is for vote buying. That's, of course, the visual you're seeing on the screen. People are saying that they are victimizing innocent people. We do not know how very solid this particular...
How can you say that's an innocent individual? When you see the struggle there...
Yeah, there you have them on the other screen.
Even one of them was trying to throw away evidence to his fellow colleague. Okay.
Let's get the audio there.
Okay.
So the thing that they should identify the party they are representing, because they are buying that vote for a particular party. That is what they should do. They should look at the party that is behind that. That's the party they should punish.
And let's put this out there. This was in Ego, local government area of Edo State. Of course, Edo Decides is the program you are presently watching on your screen. But then you were trying to talk about Akpata.
Yes, from all indication, he has the pedigree.
Jerry has a different opinion.
The thing is that Edo people have proven over time that they have a mind of their own.
Quite an intelligent set of electorate, I must say.
There are people who you cannot buy in terms of when they've already made up their mind that this is the person they want to vote for.
No, you wanted to talk about Olumide, but
that's where he's going.
Why don't you let the
Olumide is a barrister, of course, and we know that our own man here is also a barrister. Definitely, you want to toe the line of maybe supporting him because he's a barrister.
No,
but that being said,
let him finish up.
That being said, okay,
what I'm saying is that when it comes to election, your profession, it may be secondary. You may be in that profession, but you have not performed. I mean, there are some people in the legal profession today that when they mention their name, you tend to close your ear because of what they have done. Your former Attorney General, who is now in exile enjoying his loot, can he come here today and say he wants to contest election? And you will now be saying good things about him? It's not possible. When Olumide was here, he did very well. I mean, the records are there. And he's a level-headed young man, you know. He has a very solid background and all that. And he has not been involved in any scandal. And he looks like the better of the two other people. The man from PDP and the man from APC. If you bring two of them to face Akpata, I don't think they will defeat him. That's why they did not come for any debate.
All right, let's take a look at the APC candidate.
They would have, that debate would have told you who is who and who knows what is on ground.
Interesting.
But the man of APC, did you see him come for any debate?
That's Senator Monday.
The confusing thing about the APC candidate that is really
is a stock in trade. APC people are known for that.
Yeah,
even as you talk today, the man had a lot of baggages on his head.
It's amusing.
The same certificate problem. Because right now, a court yesterday, just yesterday, invalidated his candidacy of that election. Just because of what? He presented the 3 and 4 different bad day certificates in an election. You remember that in Bayelsa, that was what caused problem. When the deputy presented the same forged certificate or so, and under the watch of Mary Odele, they ruled against. But people were saying, but it's the deputy governor, not the governor. But because they are a joint ticket, it affected the governor. Remember, the same thing may happen in Edo. Listen very well, though. You say this thing that APC are doing, it will work against them because somebody will go to court. It has been said clearly. Why do you think they took it to magistrate court in Abuja? Magistrate court, electoral matter. All this thing they are doing, at the end of the day, it will work against them. And the court may say the second highest may take that position. Go and mark it. Because this is not taught them a lesson in Rivers in 2019. Remember, when the APC did not contest any election at all in Rivers, from presidency to governorship to House of Rep, because of what? They did not conduct a proper primaries.
Now, Barrister, looking at
wait, I just want to point out this because I was just saying it's amusing that Okpebolo's campaign was shrouded with the fact that he could not communicate
properly
with the voters properly. And for instance, if you take a look at his CV, his academic career, he has a master's degree in public administration from the University of Benin. He got his first degree in agriculture from the University of Benin, and of course went on to get his PhD at the University of Ibadan. And this is a PhD holder, for instance. And he also served as a senator. He hails from Uromi, Ishan land. And as a senator with all those degrees and PhD, why is it looking like he could not communicate?
That will tell you that.
Yeah, that's the question. So maybe something is missing.
That certificate was not properly obtained.
To the PhD level?
I said it was not properly obtained. I'm telling you.
And these are great institutions, for instance. Uniben and UI don't really talk out graduates that are average.
Let me tell you what happened. Some time ago, a journalist with the Sun, because I did interview, and I was writing for the Sun way back. So the man approached me and said, come, what you are doing and what you are doing, what exactly did you read and all? I said, I'm just holding one small certificate in law. He said, no, that what I'm doing is a PhD material law, that it doesn't take anything, that you can arrange it for me to get a PhD certificate, that I'm talking above first degree and second degree holder, what I'm doing and all that. I said, me, how will I defend? He said, it does not matter. Just, I will do it. The university, everything will be done. Your name, everything will be there. I said, me, no, please, I will not do that.
So you're saying that his academic qualifications can be questioned?
Based
on your findings that...
Is it not so once somebody can tell me, I know who will jump at it. I be Mr. Okoro. Somebody will jump at it and say, okay, let me...
Now, Barrister, let's look at the discrepancies.
Most of them, that's what they do. When they carry... Come and present yourself. Let us hear you. Let us know whether you... Didn't you see American election? Look at the debate. Was it not the debate that told America that Joe Biden cannot make it? It did not come for that debate. Who would have known that he has such a flaw?
Barrister, so you think that because Olumide Akpata was a good NBA president, because of that, though people will vote for him, have you also considered the fact that zoning is key in this election, considering that Olumide Akpata comes from the same local government with the current governor?
Yes. But look, let me tell you, when you are choosing, when you have to make a choice between two bad... between the devil and the deep blue sea, you choose the lesser evil. Yes, now, yes, a Labour Party, because of the zoning of these other two parties, the PDP and the APC, they had to zone it on a neutral ground because the Obaseki you are talking about is a PDP man. A Labour man is coming to that zone. So, I mean, what difference does... So if it had been that Obaseki wanted somebody from the same zone to replace him from the same party, it would have been a different ball game.
But his deputy is from the north senatorial zone,
But
and he's now in the APC. He's one who is known to have grassroots support. Don't you think he's able to influence with his position as deputy governor?
Already that man has problem because as of now, you don't even know where he is. You remember the court said that he should continue to be deputy governor. But Obaseki have not accepted him.
No, but he is a grassroots politician and he comes from the north. So don't you think that he's going to sway the vote of the north to the APC candidate who happens to come from the central?
No. Edo people will not vote that man. Why? No matter who is behind him, as long as it's that Obebela and what he has done so far, especially speaking out, they will not vote for him.
Now, I was still going to stay with you.
80% of the vote may be gotten out of fraudulent means. Edo people cannot, if it is the Edo people that I know, they cannot willingly vote that man to represent them. A man who cannot talk during campaign, a man who was appointed, a man who is being teleguided from Abuja. No. Edo people cannot take that. Remember, that was what went in favor of Obaseki when we were having problem with the other man. Yeah. Remember, Edo people say Lagos cannot choose for them who will be their governor.
Exactly. Now, let's look at it from this angle of the court's decision just yesterday at, of course, Abuja that you mentioned earlier. Do you see this as another factor that might be the reason why Monday Okwebolo would not be getting any kind of lead in this election?
Of course. Because APC got it wrong ab initio. I told you here that there was a man they voted in the primary. Why didn't they allow that man to go?
But the document states that it's a magistrate court in Abuja. So does that hold any ground in terms of...
More than that's what I'm telling you. That somebody will go to court.
Certificates
somebody will go to court on this. Somebody will definitely go to court on this. I pray he does not win. I'm telling you, if he wins, there will be litigation on this particular matter. Because the document he presented, that one alone has knocked him off.
All right, let's look at APC quietly. Because everybody is ruling out Okwebolo based on the fact that he cannot speak. And let's look at
and then that he has produced a criminal record here.
That is to be contested.
No, it's not. The documents are already available.
Anyway, he's still...
That was why people went to court.
He's still the flag bearer of the governorship position
for
APC in Edo State. So, taking a look critically at the APC, for instance, the man who was behind the APC, we're talking about the former governor of Edo State, Adams Oshomole, backing Okwebolo. He has won governorship, and let's not forget he won in court. That is why the election date is different from the normal election date. Yes, it's off cycle. And he understands the Edo election very well. And let's also talk about Philip Shaibu, who is going to be behind him right now because of his fracas with talking about Obaseki.
Yes.
Obaseki won the last election, not because he was the overwhelming favorite alone, because as a sitting governor, winning the second term in office. Let's not forget, Philip Shaibu had to betray Adams Oshomole to support him and back him towards the election. These are grassroots guys. They already understand the pros and cons. And that also shows that the Edo people have a mind of their own. But that is not to dispel those who understand how election in Edo State work. And that might work in favor of Okwebolo going into this election.
Jerry, if you talk about...
Remember, this zoning that caused problem between him and Obaseki.
Yes.
Obaseki was...
And the fact that Okwebolo is also from Uromi, a region where people believe is their turn.
Yeah.
Because it has gone round the north, and of course the Benin people, of course, let's not forget, Lucky Benin just started from Benin.
I think that was exactly why Obaseki chose because he too comes from the central.
Yes.
In the 25 years of our Fourth Republic, the central has produced only one in 9 months, Professor Osumbo. You know, a professor of law, but it was Oshomole that shoved him out of office in 2008. That is why we have the off-cycle election. Yeah. Now, if you talk about 2020, we also had the same Oshomole work against Obaseki. Yet Obaseki won the election. So do you also think that Obaseki has the pedigree, the strength, you know, to support Okwebolo and deliver him to the government house? These are the issues. Considering too that Central has already divided its votes between the APC and the PDP. So if you ask me, what Labour Party needs to do is just to push the north. So in all of this, I want us to make sense of how the zoning will affect this election. Considering that, like you said, the Edo people are quite independent when it comes to choosing who will be their governor. It happened in 2020.
In spite
so,
of
Barrister,
yes.
do you think that Olumide Akpata, apart from being former president of the NBA, also has the issue of zoning in his favor, considering that the Central is already divided?
Now, you see, I think this zoning issue may not be too prominent in this election.
Why?
Though people are looking for a performer. That's what I think they'll be looking for. They may not be interested in this zoning because on what basis will zoning make Bebelo the governor of Edo State? Because he's zoned from a particular region to a particular. It's not possible.
Well, Ighodalo is also from a favored zone.
But we are looking at the
candidates.
We are looking at the person, the personality involved.
Are you saying Ighodalo doesn't have the personality too?
Ighodalo, when you want to pay him with Akpata, okay, Akpata will be ahead of him. That's what I'm telling you here.
Because
yes.
he's a barrister?
Eh?
Because he's a barrister?
You have started, though.
I think you also recall that in the lead up to these in the lead up to the primaries, there was this thing they said about Aswa Ighodalo about we don't want an outsider. Primary because he grew up in Lagos. That he's not a good boy. I think it was the APC that was playing that out.
Don't go far. Yesterday, before the conclusion of the campaign, one Akpoti, Natasha, who came from PDP, while he was making her own speech concerning the PDP man, do you know what he said? What she said? She said that, do you remember all the things they said that Tinubu did in Lagos? Listen very well, though, to see how people unwittingly demarcate their candidate. He said that Ighodalo was in Lagos. He was with Tinubu. He was the one helping him to do all the things he did in Lagos. That he coming to transfer it to Edo. And this is somebody who is campaigning for PDP, now making reference to APC in Lagos. Can you imagine? With that alone, people say, so he's a Tinubu boy, Abi. Okay, we don't want him. No, you think such a thing will not count? You can imagine.
Those are silly mistakes.
I'm telling you, when I was listening to that lady, I was saying, no. So we make reference to anything that had to do with Lagos. By the way, what did they do in Lagos that you are making reference to? I was asking her on my own. That is a return. I was asking myself that question. What did that thing they did in Lagos that you are making reference to? So these are part of the issues. It's not enough to say that you came from a region, this and that. It is about your capacity. Can you be your own man? Can you be your own man? You are now know that nobody will telegard Akpata. Nobody. P2B who does not have interest in coming to bring down your neck. Is he going to Abia today to disturb Alex Oti? Have you seen P2B? That's what people want. Have you seen P2B in Anambra telling anybody what to do because he was a former governor? But APC, they will never allow their governor to. Tomorrow now, if Ogbabelo becomes something now, Oshomo will not remember, I was the one telling you what to say. I even campaigned for you. I did your campaign. Just like Wike telling everybody now, I did everything for Fubara. As if the man cannot talk.
If you want to point
that's
out
going to be another issue, really.
Thank you for relating it to what's happening in Rivers State.
That is it.
Because Okpebolo can also play the Fubara card when he eventually becomes the governor. Obaseki also did that to Shomole. Let's not forget.
No.
Shomole anointed Obaseki before he became governor. And eventually we all know that him and Obaseki and Shomole don't see eye to eye. So if Okpebolo might play the fool like Fubara did.
Now this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity for the people of Edo State to do away with godfatherism.
That's what we are saying.
Godfathers have never tried.
That was what to stand Obaseki in office.
Yes, but in all
that
of
was the only thing. The only thing. He
in all
didn't
of
want
this,
anybody
Barrister,
to. Yes.
Very interestingly, the Edo people, like you did mention, are very strong personalities when it comes to voting. When it comes to God, for that reason, they are always not even holding forth. But here's the thing. We need to take a very, very short break. When we return, we definitely will be telling you more. And we expect that every single person who is watching us presently, it is Edo Decide. All we want to do is give you updates as it is happening in Edo State. But of course, you can see the numbers on the screen. You can also call us. Let us hear your take, your opinion as to, all of this that we've been sharing with you. We'll take this break. When we return. Edo Decides 2024 will continue shortly. Stay with us.
This is Unit 14, New Era. The election is going on peaceful. There is security agents on ground. No violence at this time. Everywhere is peaceful. This is Unit 14, New Era. The election is going on peaceful. There is security agents on ground. No violence at this time. Everywhere is peaceful. Oredo Ward 7, Unit 13, New Era College. The election has kicked off and it's peaceful. Security on ground. As at this moment, it's peaceful. Security on ground and the voting has started. Okay. Ward 7. This is Ward 47. Open space, New Era. The election is going on well. It has started and it's peaceful. No act of violence at all. Security are intact. It's going on well. The officials are doing their job. As you can see, no violence around. We are doing it peacefully. 47, Unit 47. Open space, opposite New Era. Ward 7, Unit 46. No violence, going on peacefully.
Yes.
The security are intact.
Yes.
Everywhere is peaceful. As you can see, the election is going on proper.
They are terrorizing us with armed men, telling the PDP people if they know they're not going to vote for the APC candidate, they should leave the field, that they are going to attack them. I want you to, everybody want to see this. I've not seen where it is on record that somebody that's a registered voter in a community is not allowed to vote. You can see them with their security men. I am saying this, Inec chairman, Edo State Rec, Nigerian police, take note of what is happening. There is a standstill on election.
The commander working. I am a road vigilante. When you are Kaluna now. Where Guana? Why do you see what I do say? Huh? The road vigilante now. Where vigilante? Why I told you, okay, do the man help you? My baby, when you you have vigilante.
What are your name? Your name?
Hey, not be so they take the record. Not the record. How do you go?
So I said to you,
Me?
full name, Dr. Dejo Mosha.
That's the word about.
They live up.
Blaring horns of a hustling city. The loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentary.
This is Unit 14, New Era. The election is going on peaceful. There is security agents on ground. No violence at this time. Everywhere is peaceful. Oredo Ward 7, Unit 13, New Era College. The election has kicked off and it's peaceful. Security on ground. As at this moment, it's peaceful. Security on ground and the voting has started. Okay. Ward 7, this is Ward 47, open space, New Era. The election is going on well, it started and it's peaceful. No act of violence at all. Security are intact. It's going on well. The officials are doing their job. As you can see, no violence around. We are doing it peacefully. 47, Unit 47. Open space, opposite New Era. Ward 7, Unit 46. No violence, going on peacefully.
Yes.
The security are intact.
Yes.
Everywhere is peaceful. As you can see, the election is going on proper.
They are terrorizing us with armed men, telling the PD people if they know they are not going to vote for the APC candidate, they should leave the field, that they are going to attack them. I want you to, everybody want to see this. I have not seen where it is on record that somebody that is a registered voter in a community is not allowed to vote. You can see them with their security men. I am saying this, Inec chairman, Edo State Rec, Nigerian police, take note of what is happening. There is a standstill on election.
Has it been Sunday? You know, you see, we've been watching. Oh, no, you know, we are more in efficiency. We are only the commander. I am a efficiency. When you are Kaluna, where Guana? Where do you see what I do say? I hope for me. The revision, where efficiency. What I told you, okay, do my help you. My baby, when you are. You have efficiency.
What got your name?
Hey, not be so they take the record. Not the record. How do you go?
All right. Welcome back. It is still Edo Decides 2024, And of course, we are in the studio live right here, Voice of the People TV. I'm being joined by the other gender that are very powerful. And I'm talking about my colleagues, Fina Okechukwu and of course, Kayla Abraham. A very, very good afternoon to you guys.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon, David.
All right, we still have with us Barrister Darlington, of course, who will be helping us make sense of most of the things that we'll be seeing. Just like the video you saw earlier, Barrister, 35,000 policemen deployed to Edo State. Hundreds of soldiers as well added to this same list. And we hear this kind of situation report from a voter who said that some thugs have come out to say if the people are not voting for the APC candidates, they had better leave that particular polling unit, else they will be hurt. Do you see a repeat? Because we saw this kind of statement happen in Lagos.
During the general election.
During the general election.
Yeah.
Are we seeing such thing happening again in Edo State with all of the security apparatus being deployed?
Thank you, David. Do you know why this thing has been repeated in Edo? It's because when it happened in Lagos, nobody was brought to book. Nobody. That was why their leaders mobilized them to go and repeat the same thing in Edo State. By the way, if you are a popular candidate or if you are a popular party, can this type of statement be coming out from your supporters? Tell me. You are using your federal mind to be committing illegality, electoral fraud.
But why have just All Progressives Congress and the people supporting them, try to disenfranchise Nigerians? Because that was what played out in Lagos. You have MC Oloma saying, if anyone casts the vote here, not for APC, the person will be dealt with. And now, some members of the All Progressive Congress also making that statement as again in PDP.
And also, Barrister, should we be surprised with this statement made by the thugs? Because we saw the APC National Chair Ganduje saying they're going to capture Edo and some southeastern states. So should this be surprising to us anyways?
I just told you now that it is their leaders, especially Ganduje, it is their leader that told them what they are doing. If they were not mobilized and properly briefed, they will not be doing that. So the security agency should hold their leaders accountable.
So you think this is part of the dragging of the power?
Yes, somebody is behind. Look, it is even a shame that with all the security apparatus, especially the police that was deployed in Edo, this type of thing is going on, and nobody was arrested. I was thinking that by now, whoever made that particular police unit, they would have gone there to arrest all those boys who are doing those things there. But nobody will do that. So why did you not bring a lot of policemen who's supposed to be somewhere taking care of security? 35 in one state. The population of Edo State is not up to 8 million.
We're looking at 2.2 million voters. Isn't the police going to be overwhelmed by these kind of numbers, particularly when we say 35,000 to 2.2 million voters? Is there any level of
in what way would they be overwhelmed? Are they fighting? It's the ordinary citizens, innocent citizens who want to go and cast their vote.
All right.
So I don't think, if it is a question of war, that's when you begin to compare and pair the police and the people fighting. But this is ordinary voting, civil duty that you are going to do. What is the overwhelming here? The only people who will overwhelm themselves are the police.
Okay.
Because if anything goes wrong, the police should be held accountable. Because where we are there when this type of thing happens? As a matter of fact, is it happening in all the polling units? The answer is no. The particular area, because they have strong areas, strong points. So it is those areas that these people are causing this problem. When they know where they know that their candidate may not perform, they want to go and use force and intimidate the people. Okay. That's what is going on. It happened all over. So why will it, after what happened in Lagos, why didn't somebody learn any lesson? That's my question. Why is it always APC? Whenever you hear this type of thing, it is always coming from APC.
But given the fact that someone made a statement that power is not being given a la carte, you have to drag it, and then run with it, Barrister. Now, do you think that this is actually a ploy for such power to be taken out?
It is not left for Edo people, whether they want power to be grabbed, snatched, and run away, just like they did during the last general election in Nigeria. It is left for Edo people. Because if all of you gather and say, no, this will not happen, it will not happen. But when they make that noise and intimidate you and you run away, they will not have opportunity to do what they want to do.
But Barrister, isn't this like a repetition of the off-cycle elections that happened in November in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi State? With the irregularities that marred those election processes, don't you see this happening again in Edo? It
is going to happen if the people allow it. Because it is clear to you and I that APC doesn't prepare for election because they have nothing to offer. They're always using violence, thuggery. Look at it playing out.
Barrister, with this one,
you can see it playing out because they have nothing to tell the people. Nothing.
Are we now going back to voter apathy over the fact that some Nigerians now will be like, no, if my vote will not count, why will I bother coming out to count? And also remember that Shehu Sani said that the civil penalty should be, meted out on Nigerians that have permanent voters card and yet wouldn't come out to cast their vote.
My dear, if you surrender to these people, it will be worse. They just want to scare everybody away so that they will not do whatever they want. But don't mind all these things they are doing. All these things they are doing is a way of scaring people away, intimidating people. But why should your fellow Nigerian intimidate you from carrying out your civic responsibility? Why? If you allow it, then you are the one who is shortchanging yourself. Because you know that the person that is saying this type of thing, he doesn't have your interest at heart. He doesn't. So they have done it last year and they got away with it. Are you going to allow them to do it this year again and get away with it? The answer is no. So it is left for you as a citizen of this country to say no to this rubbish. Right. Whenever you see this type of infractions, you people should gather and then address it. If it is fight it out with them so that they know that they don't have the monopoly of violence.
Okay, we are not violent people. We would only try as much as we can to, of course, make our civic duties count. But at this point, we also like to let you know that somewhere in Ward 1, Unit 6, Ogbe Primary School in Eho, elderly voters did come out to cast their vote. That actually, oh yes, that's the one you're seeing at the back end here. Elderly women and of course men are coming out to cast their vote for their candidate. Barrister, do you think at this point this is another plus for the electorate in Edo State, owing to the fact that so far, from what we hear, the election have been going relatively peaceful?
It is because, you see, that's what I'm telling you. Whenever these talks and these criminals discover that the people are too vigilant, they will assert themselves. So they will definitely assert themselves because Edo people from time immemorial, they are known to be independent-minded. We have just done analysis here concerning what happened before and how the candidate played out and all that.
Right.
We are not going to repeat. But what I'm saying is that if Edo people are the same Edo people that I know, they will not tolerate any shenanigans because they keep telling you that Edo no be Lagos. So all these things that you are saying is just, isolated cases. It cannot be too prominent as to, mar or determine the outcome of the election. Okay. As to say it was generally mad because of what violence and all that. If the Edo people say no, it will not happen.
All right, Barrister, with the call from CSOs and other political elites in Nigeria, even the likes of Jonathan, they were saying that Inec and security operatives should be free while, carrying out their duties today in Edo State and Edo other side. Do you think that we're going to get a free and fair result from this election?
That's what I'm telling you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that Edo people are forever. They are forever vigilant when it comes to election. And that is the starting point. Liberty is only powered by your vigilance. If you want to set yourself free, you have to be vigilant because when it comes to politics and all that, it is not a tea party, especially in Africa. It is the people, the will of the people that always prevail. So if they deploy such number of policemen and then maybe to intimidate the people and they discover that they are not having their way, they will back down. No. I'm telling you, they will back down. So there are no other way to go except to allow free and fair election. At least let it be a litmus test. All this nonsense about if you are not voting for APC, you are going to... Those ones are rubbish. It belongs to the Stone Age.
All right. Okay. Now, Barrister, would want you to maybe stay with... No, not maybe. Stay with us on this. because we'll still be looking at profiling these candidates, particularly the APC, PDP, and of course the Labour Party candidates, who of course are the major candidates in this election. But then again, we also hear, let's let our viewers know, that in some wards, still in the Edo election, some interesting stories. Inec officials have not gotten to the venues.
Of course.
And the reasons might be maybe because
it's a
of modalities.
Yeah, and downpour, rain. So I believe that should be one of their excuses.
But can that, Barrister, can that be a major reason?
In fact, that is not...
Because there is supposed to be logistics planned for all of this to happen.
They already mentioned it.
But you also heard that INEC was of opinion that, the fuel pump price hike is going to affect the logistics, even when they are now soliciting for a way for them to be able to move the materials to all the wards for the proper election.
Remember that electoral materials were kept to local government by local government. So within that local government, I not see the distance being too far away from the polling units within that local government that they cannot cover it in 1 or 2 hours. It's not possible. The buses they use, they have roof. So how could the rain now stop or destroy the materials? Or are they transported in an open trailer?
Let's put this out there sometime around 11.
It's not that they are working towards an answer. The only thing, look, hold on. If they say that because of logistics, they could not conduct the election in a particular unit, polling unit, is everybody will, so maybe tomorrow they will continue. At least by that time, you have lesser number of local government to conduct the election. Instead of telling me that the whole Edo state, there was logistic problem.
Barrister, let's put this out there. Ward 3, Unit 10 is where we're talking about. That's the video you're seeing on our screen.
Good.
As at 11:40 a.m., there were no election officials on site.
Okay.
But we also do hear that it is because of the downpour. And there's a possibility.
Hold on. Are you telling me that rain was only pouring on that particular unit?
No,
the rain that was pouring in the
we're only profiling that particular unit.
That's what I'm telling you. That excuse will not be tenable at the end of the day. It is only if you don't, like I told you, you have to be vigilant over these issues. Okay. Ask them, that particular unit that you could not conduct the election and the officials did not arrive, is it that particular unit that the rain was pouring? The rain that was falling from the sky, it was just particular that place. Within that vicinity, other polling units, we are then not conducting election there.
Okay, talking about other polling units conducting election, we have a live situation report also from Edo State that in our East local government area, the Ward 3, the voting is peaceful. And, as of the time of this report, people are there casting their votes peacefully. We can see people file out to, choose their desired candidate. And that is to show that in some areas where downpour or logistics, the event or the electoral practice is there, in other polling units and wards, there is peaceful election.
Still holding the voting process.
We can accept it if it was something that you cannot help. Right. We can accept it too. But to come and tell me that because APC has targeted that poll as their stronghold, therefore nobody should come close, there will be no election. At the end of the day, the result will come out from the same place that you did not conduct the election. Right. Because we have seen it happen, especially in Imo State. So let it not be that. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, it's a good thing you mentioned Imo State, Barrister. And let's also put this out there for the benefit of our viewers. It's interesting to note as well that local government elections are also ongoing in some parts of Nigeria, particularly Imo State, Kwara State, and Enugu. Yes. We also hear that there's been some level of discrepancies in the Enugu election, local government council elections. But we'll keep our eyes on that. We'll definitely be feeding you on all that is happening in those elections, in those states as well. But our major concern right now is Edo State. We also do understand that right now it is still relatively peaceful in some parts of the state. Now, Barrister, I'm going to come to you on the profiling. Monday Okpebolo, as comparing him to Olumide Akpata of the Labour Party, is there any level of comparison when it comes to these candidates?
If you check what the performance of BALLOT during the campaign, you will know that he's not his own man. No matter the certificate, they said he has a PhD, Abi. He doesn't look like he has one. Oh. It doesn't look like.
Why do you say so?
Because all his campaign, Oshomole was speaking for him, for a PhD holder. Oshomole was speaking for him, telling him what to say and what not to say. Is that what you call a governor that come to rule a state? It's not, it's not mentioned anywhere where Peter B was telling Atata what to say or what not to say. Mention. He was the one speaking for himself. So are you telling me that Edo people will leave all that one and then choose somebody who will be teleguided from Abuja? Or Edo North, where Oshomole come from? You know it's not possible. So if they now make that mistake, they should not come tomorrow and cry over spit milk. There is no comparison here. If BALLOT actually obtained a PhD as they claim, my dear, you and I would have seen the difference in that.
Don't you think it is the issue of godfatherism that is playing itself out in that particular?
In fact, how he came to, after the primary, the first primary, they had the two primaries.
Yes.
After the first primaries, somebody was chosen, I've forgotten the name of that man who won the election, the primary, a free and fair primary. But because of this godfather, they said no, that they should go and do it again. That the man that won is not their candidate too. It was at that point that they now choose this BALLOT, who they are now teleguiding. To make matters worse, this man has 4 different birthday certificates. Is now a subject of litigation in an Abuja magistrate court. Another aberration. You are taking a electoral matter to a magistrate court. So the man will have a problem at the end of the day. I don't need to be told.
And where does that leave APC?
They may be disqualified now. They did it in Rivers in 2019. They did it. The court could disqualify APC from contesting any election, from presidency to governor to House of Rep to Senate to House of Assembly. The court disqualified APC because of these improper primaries. I don't know how long it will take them to learn a simple lesson.
But Barry Sari also saw what happened in Imo State, where the number 4th candidate became the governor.
Number one, and you saw what followed after. It was even foreigners that we are fighting our battle of concerning that particular matter. Foreigners took action on our behalf to punish those judges who did that infamy. But here in Nigeria, we have even rewarded one of them who is now the CJN. That is Nigeria for you. And you are telling me that Nigeria is going to work under this APC. It's not possible. Because I don't know why they like doing things upside down. APC, whenever it comes to, they just turn things upside down. Manipulating everything that comes their way. Manipulations. I don't know how we are going to tell this APC to at least do something right.
Now, Barrister.
Your principal in Abuja had a certificate issue. You are having certificate issue. Say they do now.
Oh, well, Barrister, let's get to profiling the candidates of the PDP, Asue Ighodalo. Interestingly, before the about to leave governor, I'm talking about GODWIN OBASEKI, leaves office, he did say before even the minimum wage was signed to go that he was going to pay workers the 70,000 naira minimum wage. Some person said that's a political statement to give a major backing to Ighodalo's candidacy. Is this in any way going to have a strong hold on the Edolites going into this election, and of course giving Asue Ighodalo a good run in the candidacy?
I think the only challenge I have with Ighodalo here is his link with Tinubu in Lagos. When one of the candidates one of the supporters was campaigning for him, he made reference to Lagos, and I was wondering how. Ighodalo is of PDP, and the Lagos he's talking about is APC. So how come? How come? Telling us that Ighodalo was part of the team that worked with Tinubu who transformed Lagos. that all the credit that they are giving to Tinubu in Lagos, Ighodalo was part of it, that he was coming to transfer it to Edo State. And I asked myself, how? How? This reference they are making about Lagos, that he did it, please, does this Lagos look like a modern city? Does it look like a modern city?
Barrister, you're speaking of...
So why do you want to make reference to another party when you are campaigning for your own candidate? People now be asking, so this man came from Tinubu, no, we don't want him.
So you're saying that he has one leg in PDP and another one...
From what the guy is saying now, where he's coming from,
is it not?
Such a man is likely to defect to even APC if he wins that election.
Barrister, in Nigeria now, are we still talking about political parties who are casting our votes? Are we looking at credibility of candidates for us to cast our votes?
That's what we have been campaigning for. Nigerians should stop looking at parties. If any party bring a stooge who they will telegard, cast him aside and vote the right man who will do the job. A man who will be independent-minded, a man who will do the work without looking at a godfather's face. That's what we are saying here. And no other person qualified for that ticket except Akpata. Because we know that the P2B will not come and breathe down his neck and say, bring money for me to go and buy a SUV.
All right.
Or go to him and say, look, give me money. I want to go and enjoy myself in UK. You know, I campaign for you. P2B can never do that. It's not his character.
Okay, Barrister, well, the PDP candidate for the election, Aswe Ighodalo, has...
That's against the law. It's against the regulation. That's against the law. It's against the regulation. But, you know, you just see people behaving indiscriminately and behaving in the way they are behaving, oppressing and trying to intimidate our folks. But it won't happen. We won't be intimidated. We won't be oppressed. You know, people can't just go around those side. How come it's only PDP supporters that have been arrested? Every day, you know, you see APC supporters, you know, doing all of the worst things imaginable, but nobody arrested. Nobody even investigates them.
This supporter that was arrested, what was he doing that made them so arrested?
He was in the polling unit. He was queuing, waiting to be accredited. He was queuing up waiting to be accredited.
So what's your call to the appropriate authority now?
That they should create a free and fair...
That is the voice of Aswe Ighodalo. He made a point that made you exclaim. He said one of his supporters, PDP supporters. What do you have?
Arrested by many Mufti.
Yes, arrested by many Mufti.
These are things that will come if there's going to be litigation. Because if your supporters were not allowed to vote for you, is a call for concern. You can make an official report and then document it, because you may go to court with it. As long as there's evidence and all that, you package all these things because you present it before the court. And you know there's an electoral, there's a section of the electoral that says if there's violence in any polling unit, it should be cancelled.
Yeah.
It should be cancelled.
But talking
about to say that I won this particular polling. How did you win the place? If you win it by violence and by thuggery, must I now allow you to go and enjoy it?
Well, he also made mention of APC supporters that also act violent and they don't get arrested. Yes, so what do you have to make about that?
That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you, that the police that they send there, it will be a very big shame that they send 35,000 men, officers and men of the police, and yet they could not manage the election. It will be a very big shame. It will now boil down to what we are saying, that this is not, these people are not going there to officiate any election.
So, Barrister,
they are an army of occupation.
As it stands, 35,000 men of the Nigerian police force were sent to Edo State. And now, Aswe Ighodalo is saying
that, yes,
men on Mufti picked some of his agents. Now, it's quite a very dicey one to pick. Are we saying that men of the Nigerian police force does not have uniforms anymore? Or are these just another tongue that is picking up the supporters?
Exactly. These are things that need to be investigated. It's not enough, because all the people that the security agencies that were accredited to manage this election, they are all wearing their ID, uniform, their identity and all that, and their uniform. So why would you now leave the other people and you arrest? The same thing that is playing out at the national level. When criminals will be doing evil Nobody will talk to them. But when civilians protest that they don't like what is going on, they want a good government, people will now be picking them all over the place.
So you're not saying that you are doing a divide and rule kind of policy in Nigeria is meant for particular people to protect and others actually.
It has been the policy of APC. We are seeing it.
But now, Barrister, also from what Asoy Godalo said, I don't know, but I wasn't in Edo State, but it looks more like the people that carry gun that pick someone happens to be security operatives. It's not the first time we're hearing about security operatives. If not, they have been maxed, they'll go on mufti to pick up people, even raiding of NLC. It took days before the police come up to say, we went to raid NLC headquarters and all that. Now, what do you have to say about this act of police or security operatives now maxing themselves or even going out to go do raiding or carry out their duties without their identity?
Word 12? Two.
Yes.
Units
18 and 19, yes.
Interesting.
But it doesn't look like...
From what we are seeing
downpour.
there,
Can you see a downpour there?
Yeah.
from what you are seeing there, it means that it is not all parts of Edo State that you have violence. That place was going on peacefully. Is that not true?
For the meantime? Yeah.
It's going on peacefully. If I were the police who are proactive, they should go to all those flashpoints, especially where that talk was making that statement. If you are not voting for APC, they should go there and arrest that particular guy who was saying that thing. They can identify him. He's still around there. Pick him up so that others will know that, no, it's not business as usual. But they will look the other side. Until the thing now said, the other party will now say, okay, since you don't want that, we too, we have a way of doing things their own way. And then they will be fracas. That's what I'm thinking that police should be doing by now. Since there are flashpoints, they're supposed to know those areas. After all, they are working with walkie-talkie and all that. If their men are overpowered in water, they should deploy more men to go and arrest the situation there.
All right.
But when you leave this talk to their own, in their own world, they can do whatever.
Oh, well, Barrister, we'll come back to you. Well, let's let you know out there that right now what you are watching is Edo Decide 2024 right here on Voice of the People TV, where we would urge you to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not subscribed already, and of course like our page and click on the notification button so that you would get all of the best of information that you would want on the go. We also have joining us as an analyst today, Dr. Deji Omoshola, who is also a political scientist. He's joined us virtually, and we'll be x-raying the elections happening in Edo State. Also, let's let you know that there is also the local government council elections ongoing in some other parts of Nigeria, particularly in Imo State, Kwara, and Enugu State. We hear that there's been some level of discrepancies and disruptions in some part of the elections in Enugu State, but we'll be giving you all of those information as time goes on. But right now, let's stay with the Edo Decide. Dr. Deji, I don't know if you can hear us. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon. I can hear you loud and clear. Am I audible, please?
Thank you so very much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, let's get to it almost immediately. Well, relatively, it's been peaceful all around Edo State, aside some places where we've heard that some persons are saying, if you're not going to vote for the APC candidates, leave these polling units right now. In fact, we have videos of that as well. And we might, if our producers are ready, let's replay that video. What do you make of this? And also, there is also the path where the EFCC operatives have picked up some individuals who have been inducing the people with some level of cash. Do you see this as a progressive when it comes to elections in Nigeria, particularly in Edo State?
Well, first, I don't see it as a way forward because if you look at the peculiarity of elections in Nigeria, there's nothing that is happening in Edo State that has not happened before. These are things that usually happens when election is going on, vote buying, suppression of voters, intimidation of voters, voters harassment. These are not new things. So if this thing is going on at this point in time, it points to the failure of the Nigerian institutions as it is to kind of like update their system. What do I mean by that? You know, for instance, if you are in a university system, students naturally will be coming up with different modes of malpractice, but it boils down on you as the teacher and as a university system to also begin to devise means of curbing malpractice, right? So you know that politicians will always want to cut corners, and you as the security agency, as the electoral umpire, if you truly want to be unbiased, then definitely, because it is not a new trick, what APC and PDP that will not be involved in vote buying? That is the truth. One may be given a higher percentage of figure than the others, but both are involved in vote buying. And when I saw the video of EFCC arresting the people that are allegedly involved in vote buying, what came to my mind is I saw a lot of officials carrying firearms, and when I saw that particular video, I was kind of like shocked that okay, during election, I think they are a bit restrained from carrying firearms. So if you want to arrest somebody for vote buying, and to the best of my knowledge, cash is not an arm. It can be illegal. It can be illegal at this point in time because it is an election period, but it is not, you know, cash is not armed. Political thugs will come to perpetrate evil. I hope these guys with firearms will also be present. I hope that they wouldn't have disappeared like a whiff of smoke, because now that they are arresting people that are perpetrating vote buying, you see the guys with firearms. So I hope that when the political thugs will come to kind of like influence the election, these guys with firearms will also be available to match them, strength for strength, power for power, might for might. Another thing that I noticed on this Edo governorship election that I have been able to identify is the role of technology. For instance, some of the materials being used in the election can be destroyed by water, right? And what does rain produce? Rain produce water. And the materials in the election, in fact, all the materials in the election, from BVAS machine to the ballot paper to, you know, anything that they are using to conduct the election can be destroyed by water. So what does that tell us as a country? It sends signals to us as a strong country about the role of technology. For instance, what if the rain in Edo State? I remember when I was young, there usually this period of 3 days rain non-stop. So what if that occurs in Edo State today? Does that mean that the people of Edo State will be disenfranchised when technology has made life easy for man? So I look forward to a situation whereby Nigeria can fully embrace technology like it is done in Western countries, whereby you can have electronic means of voting, whereby you just have to log in to a portal, or you just use a code, like all these code that they used to use in all this short code, and you can vote. And if you so decide your mind that the election can even run for like 5 days, let's say for instance now you voted for PDP and you woke up tomorrow morning and think, I think I cast my vote wrongly. You can go back to that portal and change your vote for Labour Party or APC. And when it comes to the deadline then, the vote that you casted can no longer be changed again. That would have saved us a lot of headache, because this election points towards that we are not yet there yet. But the problem is, what are we really doing to get there? And sometimes, you know, when you are okay, you want to comment?
All right. Now, it's interesting you did mention technology being a factor, and of course, a major problem of our electoral process. But then again, before you landed on your thoughts, we have a video from a particular, I forgot the word.
Unit 10.
where Godwin OBASEKI, the governor of Edo State, was seen casting his vote. If our producers are ready, let's have that video almost immediately. That's the video you're seeing on the screen. Governor Godwin OBASEKI did cast his vote at the Ward 3 in Emokpa Model Primary School, Oredo, in Benin City. Well, let's also let our viewers know that you can be a part of this conversation by calling those numbers you see on your screen, and let's have your thoughts as concerning this election that is ongoing in Edo State. You can send us a WhatsApp message or a WhatsApp call as well. Let's have your voice, because with us, you have more than a voice. And yes, you can also subscribe if you haven't subscribed already to our YouTube page. On YouTube, we are at Voice of the People TV. And on all other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. Now, Barrister, I'm going to come to you on this. The role of technology in our election. The Inec chair has said Edo election will be uploaded. Now,
if there is no network issue, remember that.
Yes. So
we'll have the result if there is no network issue.
Are we going to see? Well, are we going to believe this particular statement from Inec, or we just go by antecedents of what happened at the last general elections?
Now, in the modern world which we are now, the only way to conduct free and fair election is through technology. We have seen it especially in the US when where we copied the democracy. Even most time when the US are conducting the election, we even count the votes from here. We count it here, the thing is dropping. You know, you will see that it's possible. It's not that the people in who have access to power, they don't want something that will deny authority that they did not dot, and that will become an issue. They will start arguing on that one. That no, it is said that INEC can do it. It's not what the law says. The law says that INEC can use their discretion. You know, all manner of shenanigans will come in. But meanwhile, the intention of the law is that there should be free and fair election, a credible election. They will not talk about that. They will be talking of all the minor issues that will now make sure that the person they have in mind gets victory. That is not how we are going to move forward. As the giant of Africa have been saying, we should give the world something to copy. I think African countries should be copying something from by now. By now, we should be doing an election whereby they will not lock down an entire state, lock down an entire country, as is done in other climes. Why would you? Because of an election. But because of this susceptibility to carry ballot box and all that, that is why people are, made to sit down at home, everywhere locked down, this and that, all those things that is undemocratic. Okay. So if we want to go that way, which is possible, let somebody go to US. The technology is there. All this one that INEC is telling us, if.
But Barry, some African countries conducted their election, some even did theirs this year, and they were able to extend the voting using the technologies to do that. Now, are we also still blaming it on the fact that Africans are not copying well, or is it a Nigerian thing this time around?
I said Nigeria being the leader of the black race.
Are we still the leader of the black race?
Well, this is the largest population of black people.
We are now number 4 as regards
economy, yes, but this is the largest concentration of black people in the whole world.
Right.
Okay. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But by that singular position, the black race should be proud of Nigeria. Anywhere they are, any black race anywhere, all the African nations, including those outside here, in Asia and all that, when they remember Nigeria, they say, yes, they have a leader. Just like the Western world look up to America. Oh. But here, we have nothing to offer. Okay. Because our leadership is nothing to write home about.
It's interesting to
they are not interested in deepening democracy. They are interested in their own selfish interests. That they ruled for 200 years. They ruled for 3 terms. They ruled for 2 terms. They are powerful men. But meanwhile, your power does not, it doesn't trickle down to good governance. It doesn't trickle down to democratic ethics. It doesn't trickle down to what somebody can look up and say, yes, at least these people, they know what they are doing. So what is the essence of being there for 2 or 3 terms?
All right. Dr. Deji, when you were talking earlier, I made mention of people carrying firearms, and we also had Asoi Godalo, talking about how it is. I would like to ask you as a political scientist, what do you really make of security operatives going to polling units with firearms?
Well, security operatives going to the polling units with firearm is something that is usually discouraged during election for the purpose that some people have phobia for firearms, and you want to make the electoral process, the environment, as carnival-like as possible. So that's why police is usually discouraged from the brandishing of firearms, and to avoid a situation whereby at any slight provocation there may be an accidental discharge, and that will bring a lot of problems. It will definitely turn the election into chaos. To also prevent a situation whereby even if the policeman is accused of being biased, that even if the policeman is to face the wrath of the people at that time, he won't find himself in a situation whereby he will lose his gun, right? So going to the polling unit with firearms is something that is not encouraged. Be that as it may, I believe that away from the polling unit, based on the peculiarity of our electoral process, there should be policemen with firearms strategically located. And when I say policemen, I say it wisely because I believe the military definitely has no role in our electoral process. The military is to tackle external aggression, right? While the police is to man internal insurrection. So if police deploy 35,000 men, right, and you are still bringing in
hundreds of military.
What is now the purpose of the military? Are you saying that police have failed? Are you saying 35,000 men is not enough, considering the fact that you will still bring Nigeria Civil Defense will still bring personnel and other sister agencies like immigration, customs, and all that will be deployed. So the military really has no role, and I believe that if at strategic flashpoints, right, that if policemen with firearms are strategically located, it will be a good idea. But then I'm still left in between deciding whether shoot aside order, for instance, that was given during Buhari time, is a good idea. On one part, giving a shoot aside order to political talks may be some form of extrajudicial killing if you are to look at it that way. But then we need to also reason that if the police shoot political talks aside, the impact of having non-credible election on the society in terms of the development, in terms of performance of politicians, does it worth it? Because at the end of the day, the lives that are being lost out of misgovernance, out of corruption, embezzlement, the people that are dying on the road that are supposed to be tired and are not tired. In fact, the political talks themselves are perpetrating what I call indirect killing. So before their actions will involve in mass loss of life, because if you look at what unemployment, insecurity, the loss of life that goes into these things, it is more than the life of one political talk. So it is left between political scientists, sociologists, archaeologists to now conduct research and see whether shoot aside will be a solution to for political election thuggery in Nigeria, just as China was able to come up with death by hanging as a way of curbing.
Where would that now leave the issue of fair hearing before we now go over for the shoot aside? Remember, we're a democratically elite society in Nigeria.
Well, the thing is, shoot aside doesn't really mean shoot to kill, right? And if the police, if it doesn't involve the military.
Sorry, Dr. Digi, I have to hold you now. We have a caller from Germany. Akweze, a very good afternoon to you. Good afternoon from our end. Hello, can you hear us? Good afternoon.
Yes, I'm hearing you. Good afternoon, sir. I just want to contribute.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sir, you mean I should go ahead?
No.
I saw one man talking, Dr. Deji. I just want to say something, sir. sir. You see, every year they make renovation. They give new things, new upgrades, even to their common food. Our election is a time we have to start to let the people know that election is not do or die. That will be number one. Election is not do or die. That is number one. Where a candidate, not when a candidate.
Yeah, because we're having a bit of holdback with that call. We would also want to encourage every other person that wants to call. You have just 1 minute thereabouts so that all the callers can also air their view about this particular election. Well, of course, you know very, very well that you can call us. That's the number rolling through your screen. The caller there did mention that. Dr. Deji, are you still with us? Dr.
Yes, I'm still with you.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes, please.
The caller just mentioned that Nigeria's election is still backward. I mean, he was alluding examples to Germany and, of course, some other clime. But then, the role of technology is what you have actually mentioned before now. I want to talk about profiling the individuals who are the three primary candidates of this election. I'm talking about Asue Ighodalo, Monday Okpebholo, and of course Olumide Akpata, both of the Labour Party, All Progressive Congress, that's APC, PDP as well. Do you see any of these players bringing in something exceptionally different from what Governor Godwin OBASEKI had given before now?
Well, before the call came in, you will recall that I was speaking about the shoot aside issue. So maybe if I could just quickly land on my point.
Yes, land on your thoughts on that.
And I was saying that shoot aside is not shoot to kill, right? And that's why election should be handled by the police, because by police training, police is trained to shoot to tame, right? Police will shoot to tame. That's what they are trained to. Soldiers are trained to shoot to kill. And that's why you see that soldiers, most times, if they want to shoot, they shoot very close to the heart, right? Where they know that if they shoot you have no chance of surviving. That's how they are trained, because they are trained for war. But the police are trained to shoot, at the leg in such a way that they demobilize you and they'll be able to arrest you. The aim of the police is not to kill you, but be able to tame you and drag you before the court of law so that justice can be meted out. So what I'm saying is that if this shoot aside, we need to restart it and see that could it be a great solution to tackle political thuggery? I'm still left indecisive. But then, if I'm ever going to support it, it will be because of the multiplier effect that political thuggery, incredible election have had on our electoral system, and the loss of life in the long run, the man that is unemployed, the performance of the governor, how it is affecting people, the road that has not been tried, because politicians know that if it is performance that will determine their election, surely they would perform. So what is the things making politicians not to perform? Incredible election. What are the causes of incredible election, right? You can say vote buying, you can say political thuggery, you can say electoral corruption, changing of result sheets and all that. So why do we now tackle that of political thuggery? If shoot aside will help, and at the end of the day,
integrity and transparency in our electoral process.
And to add to that, Dr. Deji, sorry, before you answer, sorry, we have a video of course, situation reports right now. Ward 2, Unit 71, Central Junction. It's at 12:26 p.m. this afternoon. That's the video you're seeing on the screen. Voting was put on hold, and of course, that's based on people fighting, and of course, voters' testimony there that a particular party was sharing money, and of course, voters are scared and seen leaving the polling unit. This vote buying would just not stop anytime soon. That's the video you're seeing on the screen. All right.
If I can react to that video showing on your screen right now,
yes.
It would have been great if we see an unbiased security agency. I said this moments ago that I hope that these security agencies are evenly spread. because one of the ways to rig the election, you don't need to kind of like change the result sheet before you rig the election. I can tell you as a political scientist that there are some strategic ways that you can rig the election. For instance, if you throw EFCC in PDP stronghold and they are all over the place looking for vote buyers, and if you put the soldiers in PDP stronghold and then in the morning election day, soldiers are busy shouting "So good, hey, so good, hey," and people are beginning to imagine that are we in a state of war? What you have done is not direct rigging of the election, but it is also rigging of the election. That means you have intelligently used the agent of state, the apparatus of government, to kind of like widely, if I can use it that way, rig the election. So you would imagine that this place now, where are the security agencies, right? You can see, I think in that video I saw just one policeman, right? So where are the security agencies in this area? Then it needs to be investigated that is that area the stronghold of the APC? You know, is this part of the federal mind that is being displayed in this instance? Because as you can see there in the video now, I think I can only see one policeman, you know, standing on the podium with the electoral official, and I don't think that man is even brandishing firearm. But in some places, you've seen like an unprecedented amount of policemen with firearms. If this continues, and there is a bias, kind of like mobilization of police in some certain area, what we call that is an intelligent, you know, a very strategic way of rigging the election without stamping or changing the result sheet. You know, there are so many ways whereby you can rig an election. And I think, you know, although people have to watch out, this is one of the intelligent ways of making sure that the election favors one political party. Because if people are sharing money, and in that particular polling unit, in that particular area, there's no EFCC official, as we have witnessed in other areas, and also there's no security agencies. Despite the deployment of 35,000 policemen, you know, soldiers, NSPDC officials, and there's no policeman on ground to be able to walk away people that are involved in electoral malpractice or vote buying, and be able to quickly restore calm in that environment. Then you begin to ask yourself that where are the policemen that are deployed? Of course, the policemen are deployed, but then it has been unjustly distributed, maybe perhaps apparently into the stronghold of maybe PDP or Labour Party, and that is an intelligent way of rigging the election itself. An intelligent way in such a way that even at the end of the day, the court cannot question that anyway. You know, that's an intelligent way of rigging the election, and the people of Edo State need to watch out for that.
All right, Dr. Deji. Now, Barrister Darlington, this issue of money sharing during election or at the polling unit, do you think by any way that this can, you know, make Nigerians not to follow your heart while casting their vote? Remember, we're running a secret ballot in Nigeria.
Yeah, the thing is that there should be more voter education. In that, if you come with your money, somebody can collect it and still vote his or her heart. We saw what happened between Obasanjo and Ararume. When Obasanjo gave money for Ararume to do something for him in Imo State, Ararume collected the money but refused to do Obasanjo's bidding. And that angered Obasanjo. He had to enter plane from Abuja and run to Imo State and say, look, PDP have no governorship candidate in this election. That was it. To display his anger, he now told Ararume, oh, yeah, return the money I gave you. Ararume now said, look, do you have receipt for bribe money? Up to today, Obasanjo have not forgiven Ararume.
So you're not saying that Nigerians can pick money from anybody that bring the money free of charge and still follow their heart and cast their vote?
Yes, because whether you collect or not, they will still eat the money.
So to that effect, we shouldn't have money sharing at the polling unit to be a problem as deciding who will be the leader.
The way to curb it is that stop a situation whereby anybody can be sharing money at all. That particular party that is sharing that, identify and punish them. That is the only way you can bring deterrence. But if you say by word of mouth with this hunger, look, a hungry man does not know rule of law. He doesn't know what is right or what is wrong. All you needed is the money to eat. And these people know what is going on in the country. So they have the power of the purse. They are the only one who can mobilize this money and start sharing it around. So people can collect it. Not that they want to collect it, but because of their situation of their life, they are not even thinking of tomorrow. What the impact of that money in their life and the life of their children. So all this weaponizing poverty is affecting our electoral system. You cannot do that in America. You can't use money and buy every American voter. You can't. You can't. You know it's not possible. But here, it is part of the game. Even the police, all the security agencies, they are all dancing towards a particular political party. These are things we should discourage.
All right, quite unfortunate. Well, let's let you know out there, just like we did say earlier, that local government council elections are ongoing in some parts of Nigeria, particularly in Kwara, Enugu, Imo State as well. But we have reports coming in from Imo State, somewhere in Umuhu, Kwato, Abom, Bise local government area. Voter turnout in their numbers, and of course, local government council election is ongoing in that particular local government area. But of course, we also heard that Labour Party did pull out of that election, as of course rumored before now. But we're yet to affirm if truly Labour Party did pull out of that election in Imo State. I'm talking about the local government council elections in Imo State. Also, of course, they did mention that there were some voter apathy that was planned by the sitting government, and that is their reason for not being a part of that election. But we definitely will be getting more information, particularly from that part of Nigeria, Imo State precisely. Also, yes, we also hear that Iheme Bano local government's area electoral materials are yet to arrive as at 12 noon in that particular local government. A few voters who showed interest are stranded and are waiting, of course, the process to kick off in that local government. Interesting times when it comes to elections in Nigeria. Imo State local government election. That's the update we've just given you. But then let's get back to the main one, which is the Edo Decide 2024. Barrister, I'm still going to stay with you. Right now, maybe you just chime in on the local government elections in just a few minutes, or maybe 1 minute thereabout, before we go back to the Edo State.
What you see playing out at the state level, which is the governorship, is like a virus. You know, virus, when it spread all over the body. The local government elections,
yes.
Remember how it came about. Remember, it has to be at the behest of the Supreme Court before the governors now woke up.
Yes.
To do the needful, because the federal government had to withdraw their funds. Any state that does not have a democratically elected local government chairman cannot collect their funds. So this thing is all about the funds. All these elections they are doing at local government today is because of their funds that have been withheld. I'm telling you, if not for that fund, nobody will bother. You can see that we can get it right if we are very creative. You can see we can get it right if we are very creative. Thank God it was a sitting president that had to take that bill to the National Assembly. A sitting president. Now imagine if in other areas of our electoral system, something like this is done. David, don't you think we would have gotten it right by now? Like that electoral law, where they say the IREF is at the discretion of the Inec official,
right,
whether to use it or not. My dear, if we put there that every election, every vote casted in a particular polling unit must be, I said must be, transmitted through IREV automatically. Please, are we going to have problem with that? The answer is no. But look at how they made the law, and now we don't know whether to use it or not. So what was the reason for all the hoopla about electoral law? Electoral law. Electoral law, you signed it into law, and now we cannot use it. It cannot give us what we want. These are issues that you and I should be talking about. If we want to make a law, for God's sake, don't make law out of selfish interest. Because that's what I see here. Whenever they are making these laws, is that they don't get the real people who can draft laws, or they deliberately leave loopholes. Loophole that will create problem in future. You know, anybody who has evidence of attempted school sat can lead Nigeria as a president. Look at where it has brought us. Why can't you say anybody who doesn't have a BSc or BA in any recognized institution, either within or outside Nigeria, cannot be this or that or that or that? Make it cannot. Instead of saying if you have interest, if you can show evidence that you can speak or write.
So are you not saying that that bill of not too long to run is faulty?
It's very, very faulty. Very, very, because it's not clear cut. It's not clear. All these things, these are part of our problem. Whenever they want to do so, they will not do it in a way that it will be transparent. Okay. They will leave loopholes that will create problem for us in future. I keep asking myself, with what happened during the last election last year, what was the reason for the electoral law? Okay. You saw how we clamored and shouted and they criticized and talked until Buhari finally signed it when he was leaving. At the end of the day, it couldn't serve a purpose.
Well, let's also tell our viewers that you can be a part of this conversation by calling the numbers you are seeing on your screen. And we should definitely be getting to hear your opinion and your voice, particularly on this election ongoing in Nigeria. Edo State precisely.
Yeah,
we're going to say something.
Yes. Let's move over back to Edo now. Well, the Inec commissioner has come out to say she won't take bribe, even if it's ₦1 billion. Barrister, what do you make of that? Looking at the chairperson of Inec, who is Mahmoud Yakubu, is also elected by the president in executive decisions. Do you see that really happening with this election, and we'll see transparency and integrity? She said in her watch that she is in charge of Edo. She wants to do the right thing, even though she can be everywhere.
No, well, at least with what happened in Abia, that Nauti, yes, she has proven that women can get it right. So she wants to duplicate what happened at Abia State during the last election, during the last general election. So if she can,
all right,
put into practice what she said, why not?
Okay.
Look,
Barrister, hold your thoughts, please. We have a call. Let's get this caller. A very good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Chika. I'm calling from State.
All right, you're welcome, Steve.
Let's have your opinion.
Yeah, someone said it earlier. To have an election or vote, it has nothing to do with shutting down the state or shutting down the country. Like over here in State, voting will be going on. You don't even know that there's an election going on. People move on with their job. Election goes for 3 days. You can vote and you just tell your friend, I voted, I'm on my way to work, and everything is just running smoothly, But I believe in Nigeria, they create these avenues for corruption where we will still kill ourselves and start blaming each other. But they know the right thing to do from the beginning. And election shouldn't be do or die. It should be people's choices. And you elect the good people, and when you elect the good people in positions, they transform the economy, they transform the state, and the people are happy. But when you impose yourself to lead the people, nothing seems to work. These our elected officials, they travel outside Nigeria, they go to states, they go to Europe, they see how things are done, but they don't want to transform that to our people for the country to be okay. So that's my contribution. You guys are doing a great job. I've been watching you guys online.
All right, thank you so very much, Steve, for that one. We appreciate you. All right, so Dr. Deji, I'm going to come to you. Same question. Do you think that the Inec woman in Edo State would stay to her words? Dr. Deji.
Okay, first, I was hoping you would have brought me in all along because I have something to say as regards the issue of vote buying, right? And I think you asked...
You can still go ahead. You can still go ahead. Let's have your opinion.
I'm actually answering the question the other time. You see, yesterday, I just imagined that, okay, let's say the highest any party can want to buy votes is 5,000 naira. So I input 5,000 naira into my calculator, and I did a tenure is 4 years. So that means 365 days times 4. So when I input 365 days times 4, it gave me over 1,000 days, right? And now divided by 5,000 naira. I think the result was about maybe 3 naira or thereabout. I can't remember the exact figure, but an irrelevant amount. So if you are involved in vote buying, that means that you are being given 3 naira per day for every day of hardship, for every day of lack of electricity, for every day of bad roads, for every day of non-quality education. And let us remember that even the 5,000 naira is me being nice, right? There are some places that they pay them as little as 1,000 naira, especially in the rural areas. So you cannot imagine if you pay somebody in the rural area 1,000, 1,500 or 2,000 naira to vote, and that little money is able to influence the vote of that person. And that means that you pay that person, cover, right, per day, because it will not be up to 1 naira anymore. So there's this mass voter education, political education that is needed for people to really know that, okay, you need to keep your vote intact, and for people to see their vote not as a tiny broom, but as a collection of the broomstick that is able to make change. You know, when you are holding one broomstick, it cannot sweep, it cannot do anything. But when you assemble the broomstick, it becomes very strong for it to sweep away the dirt in your compound. So the thing is, that political education is needed, and this example of broomstick that I use can be used to educate the people for them to know the power of their vote. To your question now, if you could remind me, please.
If you please go on. All right, the question is that do you think that this election or the result of it will be free and fair, given the fact that the INEC commissioner said that she's not going to take any bribe from any political party?
Well, the truth is, there's something that we call conflict of interest, right? And when conflict of interest, when it is being identified, it is naturally believed that you either recuse yourself or the institution that you are serving will recuse you from that particular job itself. Because when the election is at its peak, and I've used the example on another platform that, for instance, you don't know me, right? We are not family. But if you see me, because, you voted for me like 1, 2, 3 times, and if you see me that I am not happy, and you ask me that, Deji, what's wrong with you? Why are you not happy? And I said, it is so thing. Naturally, because you have seen me before and you have heard from me, at that present point in time, you just naturally want to favor me, despite the fact that I'm not your family, right? You want to do anything in your capacity that, let me make this person happy. Same goes for me if I'm opportune to see you, right? Now, if that can happen between people that are not family, what about what will now happen at the peak of the election when tensions, when tempers are rising? You see, at such a moment, anything can happen. And if you are bound by conflict of interest, trust me, you can do and undo. This is not a matter of integrity. This is a matter of we doing the right thing as a country. For instance, right, let's imagine what happened in Osun State, whereby the resident electoral commissioner at that time was allegedly remote controlled. Even the former president attested to it, that they won the election, the first round between Oyetola and Adeleke by remote control. Now, it was on live TV, whereby the rep received a phone call. Let's now imagine that this happened in Edo State, If this happened in Edo State, let's imagine a situation where it may not even be a political call. It may be the street out of the resident electoral commissioner, maybe his wife, his girlfriend, or concubine, that calls in and said, oh, I am taking my bed and I am putting on a very sexy and very good clothes that, okay, tonight, things are going to happen. And the man is busy nodding his head like a gamma lizard, affirming that, yes, I am a competent man and I will meet up with the challenge for tonight. If that happens, right, the man has received a non-political phone call. But what will people say? They will say that, oh, the resident electoral commissioner has again been remote controlled. So when conflict of interest, when it has been identified, the best thing is you either recuse yourself or the institution itself will be wise enough to recuse you, because you have this running battle between Obaseki, who happens to now be the political godfather of Aso Egodalo, and Nyesom Wike. That alone is a conflict of interest on its own. You have the Nyesom Wike that is PDP in the morning, APC in the evening. That is conflict of interest on its own. So are there no resident electoral commissioner? Are there no other competent people that can handle this election? Why must it be this particular person? So for me, I think it is a dangerous trend on the part of Inec, and I think the people in Inec should be able to take. I think it is a 300 level course for BSc, which is called the dynamics of conflict management. Because sometimes in this Inec, you'll be surprised that the people you have there are about technology. The people you have there, they study microbiology. The people you have there, they study physics. And you'll be wondering that what is somebody that studies physics and geology doing in the conduct of election, right? But then, if you say you want to put them there, what is the level of training that you've given to them? Because if the top leaders of Ireland, if they have taken a course on the dynamics of conflict management, they will know that in such a volatile election, in an election whereby tempers are being flared up easily, definitely you want to put a man that all the political parties will be able to vouch for his integrity. And that brings us to the case of Mikey Guinea. Somebody like Mikey Guinea, right? Mikey Guinea is the only resident electoral commissioner that has been able to jail an electoral offender, a professor for that matter. Even when he was seeking justice against that man, even INEC did not give him the full backing. But Mikey Guinea went ahead and made sure that that man was prosecuted, and maybe till now the man is still in jail. So in an election like this, right, and for instance, it is an obstacle election. Why not bring somebody like Mikey Guinea that has been tested and trusted, that all the political parties can go up to sleep? For instance, when results are being collated, we usually have instances whereby there will be debate on whether the vote should be cancelled or not, right? And in this case, it may truly be that by calculation, by evidence, by the modus operandi of INEC, the vote should really be cancelled against the PDP. But if the resident electoral commissioner goes ahead, the PDP haven't been dissatisfied with him being in that office, haven't been able to identify conflict of interest, they will turn it to political and say, no, this man is doing the work that he has been sent by APC, is just cancelling on our votes. Whereas in the instance, in the true sense, the vote might really be deserved to be cancelled. So these are some of the things that when conflict of interest is identified, you have to remove that man. So INEC has failed on that part, and I hope that when results are being collated, that will not lead to a recipe, or that will not be that will not bring about recipe for crisis on its own. Because if somebody like Mikey Guinea that has been tested and trusted is handling this election, definitely if he takes the decision, the PDP, the Labour Party, and the APC itself will naturally feel satisfied, even if that decision itself is, may not favor them, or even if it has been illogically taken. When you are going into an election is a race, right? And when you are running a race, you want to be sure that the referee in that race is an unbiased umpire. So immediately it has been identified, the man ought to have been removed. But then we need to go back again and question the political side of it on the part of the PDP. You see, the man wasn't posted there today. The man has spent over a year sitting as resident electoral commissioner in Rivers State. But intelligently, as a political scientist, I will take it from two perspectives. Perspective one, that the man has been there over a year ago doesn't mean that the man couldn't have been implanted there for the purpose of 2024. The last election in Edo State happened in 2020. In that 2020 election, there was a kind of like running battle between Bola Ahmed Tinubu and OBASEKI. And the first time, sorry, if you can give me, okay.
All right. I was trying to come in when you were speaking about Inec and, you know, election results. Now, we're getting unconfirmed reports that 839 registered voters are stranded as the BVAS machine fails in setting wards, Ward 7, Unit 39, Obeko. Same thing with Ikpoba too. Well, what do you make of this? Because, you know, you were just talking about Inec and making sure they have to, you know, go through everything to make sure that the results are being collated properly and we get this result. So now, what do you have to make of this?
Failing, basically. BVAS failure and all of that. We saw this during the general elections.
Yes.
What do you make of all of this?
BVAS failure can either be as a result of unforeseen circumstance or man-induced failure, right? BVAS can only fail if man has refused to allow it to work, or he just naturally developed a fault of it, on its own. And that's why they usually say that they usually test these things. But then again, if you, for instance, the phone in your presence, right? Your phone is created for you to be able to communicate with people. But then, technology itself is imperfect without human beings giving it the right command. So if you don't die, or if a call is coming in and you refuse to pick it up, definitely the phone will not pick itself, right? So as good as technology is, it's still its efficiency is really being determined by the command that man gives it. So if man doesn't give it the right command, you know, definitely it will not do the work that it's supposed to have done. So the BVAS failure can be as a result of whether man has intentionally.
I'm going to stay with you on this, Doctor.
But what will happen? What that will lead to? Sorry, just a moment. What that will lead to at the end of the day is inconclusive election. And in the history of Nigeria, inconclusive Nigeria usually favors the ruling party at the federal. You will recall that inconclusive election became prominent during Buhari era. In the days of PDP, inconclusive election is not as it's not as really prominent as it became prominent during the election in Ekiti, Osun, Kano, and some other states. So if BVAS begins to fail strategically in some places, definitely what it will lead to on the long run is inconclusive election. And I can bet you that if inconclusive election is what plays out in this Edo state, definitely the remaining votes that are to be cast will definitely most likely go in favor of APC, because vote buying will help to voter suppression. You will recall that in Osun State, during the first round of Oyetola and Adeleke, whereby people were given signals, the APC supporters at that time were given, I think, something like a rubber band or an handkerchief. So if you are coming to vote, if the political talk, if they didn't see that rubber band or handkerchief in your hands, they know that they definitely you are not a supporter of APC, and they will harass you, they will beat you up. They did that to suppress the vote of PDP, and at the end of the day, APC eventually emerged. That also happened in Kano State during the run election for Abdullahi Ganduje during his second time. You will recall that Ganduje almost lost the election. So the thing is, BVAS should work, and it should work by fire, by force. And I believe that INEC, based on the budget for the election, billions of naira that INEC usually collects, they should have standby technicians. They should have standby tech guys that can easily fix, or if possible, bring another BVAS and reconfigure it. On an important election like this, I believe that BVAS should not fail and should not continue to fail.
All right, INEC said something that due to downpour, the rain spoiled some of the equipment that they're supposed to use for this election, but they say they went to other nearby states to pick theirs, and also they assured Edo people that the election is going to be a wonderful, free one. Now, with this happening now in Iboba, in Edo State, Dr. Deji, what are your expectations for this Edo Decide 2024?
Well, first, let me start with INEC, right? I would like to see a situation whereby if you promise something, and I think Nigerians should be able to kind of like advocate for that. If you promise something and you fail to deliver, I want to see adequate punishment being meted out on you. Whether you are INEC, or whether you are a policeman, if you promise something and you fail, there should be consequences for that. But then, I'm being baffled by the hypocrisy of Nigerians. There are some people that, if their wife promise them that, in the evening you will eat semo, right? And the woman, for one reason or the other, is unable to provide that thermo, you get angry with that woman. If you pay the school fees of your child and that child comes home and his result is maybe he became 15 or 20 in class, you will rebuke that child that, oh, you are just wasting my money. Why can't you carry first? But then politicians will promise and fail. You won't rebuke them. Then Inec will collect billions of naira. You won't rebuke Inec. But if you employ somebody and the resumption time is 8 o'clock and that person resumes 8:30, you'll be shouting and screaming. You'll be threatening the person that you either query the person or start the person. That is the hypocrisy on the part of Nigeria. So what I want to see is whereby even the court itself will begin to punish even Inec officials, because you have known them. NIMET, Nigerian Meteorological Agency, has already said that rain is expected in Edo State. So is it that bearing any unforeseen circumstances, it is today that you know that you go to neighboring states? Why are you not prepared? Why are you not prepared for unforeseen circumstances? And why is INEC not having protective cases for BVAS? Just like the one that we usually wear on our phone. There are some that is like Ziploc bag that you put the BVAS inside it and it is transparent. So even if rain is falling and even if there are some little drops of rain, you can still effectively use the BVAS machine because it has it has already been wear a protective cover. So I think that is not an excuse, and that again re-emphasize the role of technology. And I'm glad that one of your callers that comes from the diaspora was able to attest to what I said earlier, that technology plays a big role. If there is technology, most people would easily vote from their phone or can easily log in to a portal and cast their vote. But when we have decided to go manual, and at the end of the day, even if you now promise electronic transmission of results and you fail, right, the court will tell you that, oh, you can collect money but fail to deliver. Because if the judgment of the Supreme Court in the 2023 presidential election is anything to go by, whereby they say you can promise IRF to transmit resolve the IRF, but it is not a must to use it. That means that the court is saying that I can collect money from you and fail to deliver on what I have collected money for. So the court that is supposed to be a court of justice on electoral matters is even perpetuating injustice on the Nigerian people, because if you use taxpayers' money, if you use the money of the people to promise something and you fail to deliver it, and you are standing before a court of law, I believe it is just. It is justice for the Nigerian people, for the court itself to punish you. If you cannot punish the next chairman, who are the tech guys? Have you brought them before the court to come and explain, and has the court punish them accordingly? If that had happened during the 2023 presidential election, I believe now nobody will come with any excuse that BVAS is not working, IRF is not working. But then when you let them go, they start collecting billions of naira. What is the deterrent at this point in time for BVAS not to work? And if BVAS fails to work, what is the consequence? Nothing. So I believe the court itself should be able to do the right thing, and Nigerians should be able to advocate for the right thing in such a way that when you collect money, definitely you must deliver from it.
Right now, that leads me to other question of what are your expectations from the Edo side 2024, given the fact that we have LP, PDP, and APC to be the major contenders in this election?
Well, my expectation for the Edo election is that if you look at the political landscape in Edo State, I have tagged the Edo election a political elite gang war. Yes.
But Barrister, BVAS not working, what does this say on the part of INEC in terms of their preparation?
Yes.
I mean, we did hear that they deployed 5,000 BVAS machines and 18,000 ad hoc workers for this election. So now we're getting this update.
I have my doubts. I have my doubt about this BVAS, because if you check now the election result, if you check how it is going, you will know that something prompted this BVAS not working.
You think so?
Yes. If you check the way it is going, something prompted it.
What prompted it, Barrister?
It is because maybe things are not working out the way they planned it. Or those people are now taking their destiny in their own hands. So the only way to give excuse to see whether they can manage the outcome is to tell them that the BVAS are not working. They didn't tell us why is it not working. Is it that the battery is low or the machines are obsolete? I don't understand.
But they say they charge the battery and they're ready for this election.
Exactly. That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you. So all the changing of the goalposts at the middle of the game is where the doubt to come in. I am telling you authoritatively, if I know these people very well, whenever things are not working their way, all manner of glitches will come in. All manner of hiccups, all manner of disruptions will come in.
So, Barrister,
just to frustrate the people.
When you say you know these people very well, who are you referring to?
I'm talking
the ruling party?
They are ruling party. Yeah, based on what they did during the last election.
Oh, the APCs, what you're talking about?
Yes. Based on what they did during the last election, to give advantage to somebody.
What did they do? Really?
When they could refuse, all the elections of the National Assembly, all of them went through IREF. But when it comes to that of the presidential, the thing went down. Is that not what happened? Up to today, the Inec chairman have not explained to us why that particular situation. Why that particular situation? It was done all in favor of Tinubu, nothing else. Because he was the one who got the benefit at the end of the day. The same thing is playing out now. Yes. So whenever things like this start happening, me personally, I have my doubt because this Inec cannot be trusted. If you check now, it is those areas that things are happening. That is where these BVAS are not working.
So, Barrister, what do you have to now say about the appointment of the Inec chairperson by the president?
Because
should it be an appointment thing or an election thing?
In fact, that's where we are going next. Inec chairman should not be appointed by a sitting president. Inec chairman should not be appointed because that office is too big for you to be in the hands of one man.
So who do you think should appoint the
people? The National Assembly should come together, including Nigerians, to vote for INEC chairman.
It should be put into vote. That's what you're saying. Should it be
put
into vote?
Yes.
And do you think that would ensure transparency in our electoral process?
It will. At least the man will no longer be at the behest of the sitting president, who will tell him what to do and what not to do. Yes, it will help. I need to checkmate him.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. But this particular story that's coming out from Edo now, it should be investigated. All those people that they said are not working, somebody should look at it. Somebody who knows about that job should look at it and tell us whether actually that thing is not working.
Before we have your concluding thoughts, a tiny thought just came through my head. These beavers are purchased with taxpayers' money. And as it stands, nobody seems to be held accountable for any of it not working at the time it's supposed to work. Isn't this a failure on the part of the judiciary, who do not take things like this important in our elections?
You cannot blame the judiciary here because the judiciary cannot on their own initiate a case. It is the case you brought before them that they can adjudicate on. That is how it works. Even if you have all the evidence, everything, the judiciary, they are part of the society. And to make matters worse, our own advocacy is that of adversarial. That means the bench does not interfere in what is going on at the arena. You can have all your evidence, all your accusations and all that. The judge who is sitting there will not even interfere. Whoever wins the argument is the person who will give the judgment in his favor. So that is how it works here.
Barrister Valiting, let's get your final thoughts on Edo Decides 2024. What are your expectations? Who do you think would emerge, if everything goes free, fair, credible?
I have said it here that if candidates are anything to go by, that is the background, the capacity, the integrity of the candidate are anything to go by. Agbata should not even have a competition here. Because I've told you all the baggages the other two are carrying, which if it is properly put into contest, they can't win that election. Except Edo people decide to throw away their votes. Because I have already told you, that of APC now is having a court case, a serious court case.
About the birds.
Yes, Ababele, yes. That presenting 3 birth certificates. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? It's a very serious issue. Are you going to neglect that? and say, let him go on. Like they told us the other time, let's move on, the election is over. No, we can no longer move on.
Right.
Every infraction must be contested.
Fantastic. Dr. Deji, your concluding thoughts about this particular position. Do you also think any of these candidates, maybe your choice, would emerge winner if, of course, this election goes free, fair, and credible?
Well, the thing is, I actually don't have a choice because I just look at things objectively and give my analysis as a professional political scientist. But one thing I can assert is that if BVAS is not working in some strategic places and the trend goes on and on, if vote buying is occurring in one place and is occurring in another place, and where that vote buying is occurring is the stronghold of the APC and in the stronghold of PDP, and people that means the APC guy may eventually be declared winner, and what we hear is go to court. And the implication of that is looking at this 2023 general election that just passed by. The Supreme Court did not upturn the result in one state.
All right, thank you so much, Dr.
Inec has declared, and at the end of the
thank you, Dr. Deji, for that.
Regardless of the infraction, the Supreme Court can ratify the election of the candidate.
All right,
Thank you so very much, Dr. Deji Omoshola, a political scientist. We do appreciate you for being here. But of course, gentlemen, we would urge you to stay with us maybe in a couple of minutes after now, because we would have to maybe take a tiny break from this show at Do Decide 2024, and we'll be having the next program, which is Diaspora Perspective. Yes. So for every single person watching right now, we urge you to stay with us as well, because we want to get your perspective, particularly when it comes to the Edo election. We would continue this update in about a couple of minutes with the next program. So we urge you to stay with us. On behalf of myself and the entire team, right now, we're just saying, stay with us. We'll be with you shortly.
Are you ready to connect with distinguished Nigerians around the world? The Diaspora Perspective is here to share the views of Nigerians in the diaspora on burning issues.
From the street of New York, the royal cities of London, and the bustling cities of Europe, Voice of the People Television brings to you a roundtable and collage of interesting views from Nigerians in diaspora.
Join the host of the show and some Nigerians in diaspora, Dr. Damages, the flagship, Show, and KJ, as they discuss the experiences, challenges, and triumphs of Nigerians living abroad.
Discussing and analyzing everything from culture, policies, career success, and how Nigerians are staying connected to their roots. Showing every Saturday by 2 p.m. West African time and 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
The Diaspora Perspective, giving a voice to Nigerians abroad.